Elestrals hosted its first official tournament of the Moonrise metagame this weekend, with 82 different players vying for their spot at the top. The deck lists have now been released, so today I thought we would go through and take a look at what everybody in the top 8 was running. Starting off in 8th place, we have Adrian's Lunar Aggro list. Now he's playing 1 copy of Pharaohgeist, Doppelgator, 3 Nabi, Lycovoid, Werepup, Spectress. This all looks pretty typical, like this is pretty much just your normal Lunar Aggro deck. Nothing really to talk about, honestly. These are all pretty standard because they're extremely strong cards right now. Werepup having the ability to search out any of the lunar phases is extremely good. Then Nabi possibly going into Doppelgator. And then utilizing Full Moon to make every single Elestral in this deck a Pharaohgeist that's properly enchanted is also extremely strong. Moving on to the runes. 3 copies of Ambrosia, 1 Earthquake, Resting. He's only running 1 Zeus, which is kind of what I thought was weird. I felt like you should definitely have at least 2 main deck. Like, I know you're running a decently, like, attack-heavy deck, so you should probably just be running a second Zeus, in my opinion, rather than the main deck single Thunderstorm. I'm not really sure how well this Thunderstorm worked out for you, but just in my opinion, I would have rather seen a second Zeus. And then, yeah, it doesn't really have too many counter runes, at least in the main deck. So, I mean, other than Full Moon. But honestly, I would like to have this at 2 copies rather than 3. Run that, and then 3 Tsunami, or like a Shield or Altar or something. Because just having Werepup being able to find the 3 of them essentially makes it so you have 6 copies of Lunar Phase, and that's kind of just redundant. Like, it's nice to have, but at the same time, you really don't need that many of Full Moon, like, that many Full Moons, really, realistically. Spirit deck, he's got 10 Owloon, because he's on mostly Lunar, makes sense. Got the 5 Zaptor for the Thunder package, because he's got a pretty decently large one. Water for the Tsunami, and I assume just Misenchant. Doesn't seem like he's got any water, unless he's got some inside deck. 2 Atlas for Earthquake, and then 1 Luminate because of the Pharaohgeist. That makes sense. 1 Lycoris because he's got 2 Hurricane here. Another Tsunami, yeah, so I think the second water is just in case he wants to throw in the Hurricane and Tsunamis and stuff like that, so he doesn't have to worry about it, and then game 1 he can also sit there and just Misenchant it. Makes sense. So he's got the Lunar Phases here. They all can be searched by Werepup, so I think that's extremely good. He's not running the Waxing Crescent, which is the one thing that I actually really liked that a lot of the Lunar Aggro decks were doing against me, because they were playing the Waxing Crescent and utilizing that to just be like a weird Tsunami, kind of. I'll point it out in a deck list that has it later, but kind of one would like that to be in here somewhere, because that was extremely strong even against me, and I'm not even that heavy on the Lunar part of my deck, but it still ended up literally losing me a game. Shields, Tsunamis, yeah, just in case he needs more back row Spoil Fruit against the heal stuff. Divine Blessing to protect against Hurricane or literally any form of invoke removal. I like it. 2 Hurricanes in case if somebody's just not respecting Hurricane. Cough, cough, me. Yeah, it looks pretty good. 14? Okay, yeah. The one in Spirit is the 15th, duh. I was like, that's weird, he only has 14 inside deck, but the one Spirit makes the 15th. Yeah, I like the deck, just a little bit of tweaks that I would make personally, just to fit my playstyle more than anything. And yeah, that makes sense why he made it to top 8. It's an extremely powerful deck, and I like it. And the 7th place list, we have Sunsea Jess's top 8 list here. Playing what looks like just kind of 5s. Honestly, like, nothing around it, just playing everything and playing 5s. Got the Elechic, because they're stupidly strong, Viscerus, because they're stupidly strong, Aster Rabbit, this card needs to go. At least in my games, this was a 100% determining factor, and the winner was whoever, like, utilized more Aster Rabbit triggers. In my opinion, this card genuinely does need to go. It needs to be X'd. It's kind of getting ridiculous that it's pretty much 100% play rate in every deck, with 0 failure, except for Frost. Doesn't matter what type of deck you're playing, it's always played. And it's just getting ridiculous at this point. Respect, Yeah, because they're stupidly strong. Eddie changed position because everybody's playing 5s right now. Arcolith, in case they get behind, can easily utilize Arcolith to just be busted and swing over, easily win a game. Put yourself back in a winning position no matter what. Re-enchant Rabbit, you can easily just enchant more Zeuses than the one Toxeon they've got there, so I like it. 2 Jolton, are they? Yeah, they've got the Mount Olympus here, which is kind of weird, in my opinion, considering like half of their deck is not. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Literally half of their Elestrals are, I mean, I guess half of them are, so accurately, yeah, it kind of works. It makes Jolton, Toxeon avoid Cryoblast. Rabbit's just even more busted. Arcolith is even stronger with Mount Olympus, so I guess, yeah, it works. 1 Moss Station, probably just because they're playing the altars here and to get over bunnies, because bunny is stupidly strong. So utilize it to get over bunny, plus you can utilize the altar as a combat trick to switch it back to attack position and then just kill whatever they're attacking into you with. So I like that 1 inclusion here. Yeah. Moving on to the counter runes. Got Gorgon's Gaze, Tsunami, Resting on Your Laurels, Ambrosia, yeah, all the typical stuff here. Like literally everything that's normal here, just 2 ofs, 3 ofs, depending on what ratio they decided to run. 2 Cryoblast here to pair with the Zeus, because that just makes essentially so you have 3 Earthquake. So yeah, that stupidly strong deck right now. I like it. 8 Zaptor because they're more on Thunder than anything. 3 Teratlas for the Viscerus plus Earthquakes. Got 3 Leviathans for... Oh, they're playing Eddie and Tsunamis here. 5 Owloon for... Oh yeah, because their side deck you'll see in the side. They've got the Spec there, and then you'll see their side deck in the second. And then 1 Flurmine. And then I like this side deck, because they're smoke screening into Lunar, essentially. They're saying, like, if Lunar is not really that popular, or if Lunar is not what I'm playing against, I'm going into Dense Fog Control, kind of. They've got the 2 Spoiled Fruit for anything for healing, just to be able to kill it off, makes sense. The extra Cryoblast in case you're playing against 5s or you need more removal. Got the Lunar Phase here because you've got the Werepup Like Void package. Dense Fogs because you're playing Toxiri and shutting down a lot of Elestral's abilities are extremely strong, kind of like Galaxies and Viscerus and anything that's not Lunar that's relying on its ability right now, honestly. 2 Boombat because big guys, so just kill off big guys with the 1 cost, makes sense. Got 2 Werepup in the Like a Void package with that, I like it. Quackle for healing, and then Toxiri's for the Dense Fogs, and he'll give them minus whenever they're suppressed. Also, with Spectrus, that is essentially a +3 to Spectrus attack, because Spectrus will suppress, get +1 for its own ability, and then -2 if Toxiri is on the board. So that's an extremely strong combo, too. Yeah, I like the deck. Honestly, I really like the side deck more than anything. Like, the top of the deck just kind of looks like your typical 5s plus Thunder package and whatever, but I like the smokescreen into the Lunar stuff. I think that's a really cool, good idea. I like it. Jess always comes up with some really creative smokescreen type side decks that utilizes the ability to play multiple, like their deck multiple ways, and I really like that about how they build their side decks. Alright, moving on to our next list, we have my list. I'm not really going to go through it too quick, or too much, I'll just go through it real quick. I'm just playing bugs here, utilizing the Ardbud to search out a bunch of different bugs. I've got Navi, Viscerus, Spectaris, Warmite. Warmite's honestly extremely busted, just slept on the fact that it comes out as a 7 attacker, as long as they're in attack position is extremely strong. They can also take out and tie with Doppelgator, that's fully enchanted, which is also really strong and nuts. Got 3 copies of Cryoblast here, because Cryoblast is extremely strong in a 5s meta, and I'm playing 2 copies of Zeus, so that's just more copies of Earthquake, like talked about in Jess's list. Have Ambrosia, Earthquake, Laurels, and all the typical counter runes here. Got Demeter here because I'm playing the Equal Links package, because I thought it would actually be pretty decent with how much Earth I have. I was wrong. This was bad. I would take Equal Links Demeter out, and I would run Zeus and probably like a Toxeon in main deck or something like that. And then Spirit deck is very, very wonky here. Just 1 Levy Fin for the Tsunamis, 2 Flare Mines for Cryoblast, and also part of the side deck. 3 Vipyro for your Lavaliths and your Warmite. Got 4 Owloon for the lunar part of the deck. 4 Zaptor for your Rabbits, or Elestrals and your Zeuses, and then 6 Atlas for the Earth portion of the deck. Like I said, I would cut the equal links to meter down, so I'd probably cut this down a little bit and then just change the ratios depending on what you're playing. But I kind of just expended Earth a lot because I didn't really need it too much, especially after I would side out equal links. So then, side deck, this is where I really messed up at the beginning of the day. I was up till like 3 a.m. and I was stupid, and as you'll notice, I have 1 single copy of Hurricane, 0 Wind Spirits. I went to side it in for the first time and realized how stupid I was. Couldn't play it. So that was a big mistake. Divine Blessing is extremely strong. Alter didn't really do much. Tsunami came in sometimes. Spoiled Fruit, never saw once. I sided it in, just never saw it. Eddie was just there for Rabbits. Toxion was just there for the Blistrix matchup. And Frostmite is extremely strong. It just deals with anything that wants to sit in defense position. Plus also like Galaxies and stuff like that. Plus, with pairing it with Cryoblast, you can easily kill anything under 7 defense. Pair it with Cryoblast plus Zeus, you can kill anything under 10 defense, which is pretty much anything that's played at the moment. Like, I think the only thing might be Pharaoh Guys that gets over it. I'm not sure what Pharaoh Guys' stat line is on the top of my head. Let's see. It is a 13, so yeah, Pharaoh Guys gets over it. That's about it. So, yeah. Frostmite is extremely strong, slept on card, but it's really just a sideboard card because you can't really do much if they're just playing 5s with it. So that's my deck, just a quick rundown of it. Now we're going to be moving into top 4 with, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. I'll be honest, I'm not going to try. I feel like it'd be disrespectful with how much I would just kill the name. This guy, he's got top 8 with self-mill. So good on him. He had a pretty lucky day. Not trying to be mean, not trying to downgrade him. I've never seen him play the deck. I just know self-mill is gambling. So let's take a look at the list. It's got 3 Snowlet, 3 Asbrow, 3 Blistrix, 3 Cedar Sword, 3 Morolith. That's how I know he's gambling. He's got 3, 6, 9, 12 different Ascensions. I don't like that. That's too many. I don't care what the typical self-mill ratio is, that's too many. That just leads to bricks. And Morolith is kind of like a 1-drop in this type of deck, don't get me wrong, but it's still, it leads to a lot of bricks. Got 3 Frostix here, when you only have 5 possible targets for the entire deck to bring back. I also don't like having 3 of those for that. Just not my style. I'm not a fan of this. Got 3 Narpoons here to make sure that you can search out Sorlet, or Snowlet, not Sorlet. And Frostix or Catarant, whichever one you kind of need for the situation, I guess. Whether it's like early game you grab Snowlet, mid game you'd grab Frostix, and later game grab Catarant, I guess. Got 2 Ambrosia. I don't like this. Need to be on 3. Especially in a deck that wants to burn through spirits like no other. Like, you need to be on 3. The fact that I'm playing Toxion just to punish this type of deck is, like, you not being on 3 makes it even better. 3 Avalanche, yeah, because you're trying to mill as much as possible. 3 Rise from the Ashes, because in case you hit anything in the wrong order, you can easily just Rise and then try to re-mill into the right order, or it just Rise a Blistrix straight up if you just hit it with Snowlet, and then you have Rise in hand. Gorgons, Tsunami, Shield, not real, I don't know. I feel like if you're playing self-mill, just go all in. Just go all in. Don't care about anything they do. That's just me though, personally. I feel like this is an all or nothing play style where you're just either completely obliterating them or you're getting obliterated, so the counter runes kind of seem counterintuitive to me. Spirit deck's extremely clean. 2 Lycris, 3 Leviathan, and then 15 Flurmide. Like, yeah, I wish I didn't have to think when expending anything. That would be extremely nice, so that would be the one perk of playing this type of deck. You got the... Why do you only have 2 Lycris if you have 3 Blistrix, 2 Hurricanes? That should be at least one more. Because you're going to be playing Rise and all that, and you want to hit multiple Blistrix anyways, so then not being able to play Hurricane if you hit the multiple Blistrix is not good. So yeah, you need to, like, 14, and then move that to 3 at least. That's kind of, like, the only one thing. Having 3 Levy Fin for the Hurricanes, Harpoons, and Tsunamis, that's fine, because you're never really going to be utilizing all of it, unless you're, like, just down to the wire. So yeah, just put that to 14, put that to 3, and that looks a lot better in my opinion. And then, yeah, I'm just not a fan of Stealth Mill and how it's built. I don't like how you either just completely go off or you brick, because I would be the dude to put brick. But that's kind of just looking at this deck. I know that the dude got lucky in play, because he's running more 2 and 3 drops than he is anything else, and that's why the deck is just luck. You can easily just draw into those and your deck does nothing. He's got 1 Hurricane side deck to play against anybody not respecting it, and if you're playing the Hurricane side deck with no Wind Spirit, that also, you need to have that 3rd Wind Spirit in the main deck. Got resting on your laurels here in case he gets behind and doesn't hit the mills that he wants. Cryoblast for 5s matchups, PTAs. Yeah, okay, I guess to keep yourself, like, alive while you're trying to find it. 3 Mountains of Boreas, I'd put this at 2. You don't really need 3. I feel like it's just a brick card if you don't really need it in the moment, but it can come in handy, so having 2 of them in the side deck would be really nice, because, like, I saw Bean Soldier win his game in the PNM literally just due to Mountains of Boreas not being able to, or saving his Morlith, so having this card is good in the side deck. I like it, just not as much as this. 2 copies of Divine Blessing for Hurricanes, Earthquakes, whatever. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, I think I would run this in the main deck. I would like to see this in the main deck rather than some of this, because your whole deck is just saying all or nothing anyway, so if you put the Divine Blessing in the main decks, you can easily just say, screw you, you can't kill any of my stuff when I get it out, rather than having to wait till the sideboard and then possibly getting it. And yeah, I think these just should go in main. If you're playing this type of deck style, it's all or nothing. Then 3 Tadflow. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're playing like it, see, I like this better than like running 2 or 3 of those rather than running some of what's up here, just because you can easily utilize your Enfrostics to ascend into the other stuff in case you do brick. But I have not played like too much self-mill. It's just my personal opinion on how this would work. But yeah, Tadflow I do actually like in the side deck or main deck, whichever one, but I do like it in this type of deck. But that's his deck. That's this guy's deck. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I do apologize. I just don't want to slaughter your name, so I'm not even going to try. And tying for 4th place, we have Trishula's top 8 list. And he's just playing Lunar Aggro. Very similar to other deck lists we've seen. Shurid and like Diamax and all of them are kind of in the same playtesting group. So all their decks are going to look very similar, so if I'm just kind of brushing through it, it's just because I've already talked about pretty much their deck list. They might just have small changes here and there due to personal flavor, but for the most part, they're going to have the same list. Got the Ask Rabbits, Elechiks, Eddies, Galaxies, Spectrus, Navi, Werepup, Lycovoid, Doppelgator. Like, same exact Elestral lineup, nothing really to talk about there. They're all extremely strong cards, so it makes sense why all of these are being played. Got 1 Earthquake, 2 Lunar Phase, Tsunami, Altar of Stars. All of these make sense, especially with Werepup combo for the Lunar Phase Full Moon. Got 2 Altar, 3 Ambro, 3 Gorgons, 1 Resting, 3 Shield. All looks very typical. Like, none of these ratios are really off. It's pretty much what I would run. No PTA in main board, which I find really weird. PTA is, like, I think it's still one of the strongest counter runes. Nothing is really going to change my mind on it because just hard removal is extremely strong. So I always run it in main deck. Got 2 Hurricanes main deck. I mean, yeah, they all kind of came to the conclusion that 2 Hurricanes was best. Even if you don't really need it, you can always just utilize it as a fake set, I guess. but if they do overextend, you can always just easily punish with Hurricane in the main board. Because a lot of people are going to expect it in the side, but nobody's going to play around it game 1, especially like me. I never played around it. I didn't play around it no matter what. Even if I saw it, I was just assuming they weren't going to have another one, or they weren't going to have, like, they just weren't going to have it again. That was it. I just never respected the card throughout the entire day, and that did end up being a mishap that cost me, unfortunately, but lessons learned. So, Zeus, yeah, because Zeus just lets you win combat, finding it with Elestrals. You essentially have 3 copies of Zeus, plus Elestrals as a body. 1 Lycris for your Hurricanes, 2 Teratlas for the Earthquake, 4 Leviathan for the water portion of the deck, 5 Zaptors for your Zeus, Aster Rabbits, and your Elestrals, 8 Owloon because you're Lunar Aggro. I'm pretty sure this is literally its exact sideboard too. If I recall right, it looks very similar. Might be a few changes here and there, but the Dense Fogs for non-lunar matchups, Divine Blessing to block Hurricanes and other important invoke spells. Tsunamis, just in case you're not playing against water. Waxing Gibbous for the lunar matchup, plus you can always utilize it to protect your lunar guys. Spoiled Fruit for heals. Cryoblast, because 5s is very prevalent right now, plus pairing it with Zeus, Oddly Colored Earthquake, like I've said. Spectrus and Galaxy, putting these in case somebody else is on Galaxy. That's it. I don't really see any reason to have these in sideboard other than, hey, you're playing Galaxy, I need to out that Galaxy all the time, so let's play 3 Galaxy, 3 Spectrus. And yeah. Pretty typical from what we've been seeing of the Lunar Aggro deck. Like I said, I'm pretty sure all these people brew together, so it makes sense that they kind of just came up with pretty much the exact same deck list, just tweaks here and there. But extremely strong deck, makes sense why literally all of them in here that I've talked about have made it into top 8 with it. Like, they're all good players, I'm not putting anything down on them, or putting anything down on their list, I've already talked about it, majority of the stuff. And the runner-up of the tournament, we have Diamax's list. This is actually who ended up taking me out of the tournament, and I can tell you why. It's this card. Aster Rabbit is the sole card that beat me in my matchup, and I'm not even gonna hesitate to say it. The fact that he just got to continuously re-enchant this and found Rabbit more than I did was the sole reason why he won. No other reason, honestly. I'm not even trying to be salty. It literally came down to a 0-0 matchup in Game 3, and I never saw Aster Rabbit in Game 3 at all, and he got to just continuously re-enchant his Rabbit and gain resources, and protect his own Rabbit by gaining resources with the Rabbit re-enchant. And yeah. So even while he, like, if he just had to, he'd just re-enchant the Rabbit, grab whatever's most optimal. It did not really matter. Rabbit, this card is disgustingly good. Like, even with all of my answers that I have for Rabbit, the Eddies, the Frostmites, it doesn't matter because Rabbit just summons its own protection by grabbing counter runes. So this card, it just needs to go. I don't care how long of a rant it is, this card needs to go. It's disgusting that it's still here and in existence at this point. But rest of his deck, Elechick, Quackle to heal, Doppelgator, playing 2 of them. This was actually a pretty big problem because I'm not playing too heavily on the lunar side. Doppelgator did cause me a little bit of an issue where I kind of just had to sit on stuff and I wasn't really able to do much for a few turns. Nubby caused me issues because I got him into Doppelgator several times. Spectrus, whatever, it didn't really do crap. Galaxy was whatever, it wasn't really too big of a deal. It was a little bit annoying, but by the time he slapped Galaxy, Rabbit had already utilized its ability so many times to control the game that I was surprised I was still in it at a 0-0. So yeah. Then he's got 3 Eddie just to change positions against 5's decks, 3 Zeus, 2 Hurricane. This got me real good, game 1 and 3, both of the games that he ended up winning. Also, he literally just had Hurricane turn 1. Like, I set 2, I was like, alright, this isn't too bad, and then he just Hurricaned me right off the rip. Like, no hesitation, just somehow had it turn 1 both games. I was like, alright, that's cool. So yeah, between just being lucky enough to have Hurricane turn 1 and then just being able to constantly re-enchant the most broken card in the game, it ended up winning him the game at 0-0. 3 Tsunamis, Earthquake, Ambrosia, Laurels, Achilles, PTA, Gorgons. Looks all pretty typical. I would put 3 PTA, but I mean, the dude beat me, so can't really say what I would do against it, I guess. Got 1 Lycurus for your Hurricanes, 2 Terratlas for Earthquake, 4 Alune for your lunar portion of the deck, 5 Leviathan for your water portion, and then 8 Zaptors because you're playing mostly Thunder. All that makes sense. Got 1 Flare Mine in the side deck for 3 Cryoblast. He's also on the Waxing Gibbous tech here, which makes sense. He actively plays with everybody who I was talking about before. He's just the only one who didn't play the same exact list. So yeah, he took the Waxing Gibbous text. Well, didn't take it, but he utilized it. Dense Fog also for non-lunar decks. Divine Blessing just so he can continuously play around Hurricane without having to respect it. Boom Bats for the big guy matchup, and Quackles if he needed more heals. So overall, it is a good deck. Don't get me wrong, he played very well, but if it wasn't for this broken-ass card right here, I definitely would have won the game. Like, no questions, and I'm not even trying to be salty, it's just the reality of the situation. When it comes down to 0-0 and he has like 4-inch Rabbit enchants, it's just what it is. And our final list of the day, we have Justin T's winning list. And it's literally just the same as Trish. You got 3 Nobbies here. You got the 1 Doppelgator, just because this is an extremely strong combo that allows you to beat over stuff. Plays another Elestral Werepup here for the Like a Void combo. Spectress, Astrarabbit, Elechick, Eddies, Galaxies. Astrarabbit's extremely busted, just talked about that. Eddie's swap position, which is extremely strong in 5s metas. As long as it's not like a water-dominated meta by Galaxy, Eddie is extremely strong. If Galaxy is the meta, Eddie becomes a lot less prevalent. But 2 Galaxy here, because Galaxy is just stupid busted. I got 2 Full Moons here for the Like a Blade combo, 2 Hurricanes, because Hurricane is extremely strong. And this whole group just ended up on Hurricane in main deck to surprise people, because everybody thinks of Hurricane as a sideboard card. So I like playing the Hurricane in main deck here. Got 2 Zeus to win combat all the time. Got 2 Tsunamis, 3 Ambrosia, 2 Alter, 3 Gorgons, 3 Shield, 1 Earthquake, 1 Laurels. Very typical rune package here. The Hurricane in main deck is the only thing that they're really doing different than everybody else, but it worked out because everybody here seemed to make it up with this in main deck. So it seemed to work out really strong for a 1 in main deck. But that's the thing, is like the more people play it, the more they're going to play around it, so the less effective it's going to become. And Hurricane is just a weird card in that matter. But you got there's typical spirit package here. You've got 1 Lycurus for the Hurricanes, 2 Terratlas for the Earthquakes, 4 Leviathan for the water, 5 Zaptor for the Earth part of it, and then 8 Alune because your majority deck is lunar. Then you've got Spectress and Galaxy for the Galaxy matchups here. The one and only tech that he changed himself is he's not running Tsunami, a 3rd copy of Tsunami. Instead, he's running this Lunar Phase Full Moon, which says target an Elestral on the field, suppress it until the end phase. You may expend Lunar equal to the target card's enchantment cost and discard a Lunar Phase if you do destroy it. So it's kind of just a weird colored Earthquake, and honestly, I like it. It doesn't say you have to specifically target non-lunar, so it does also work in the lunar matchups, and since you're already able to find a bunch of lunar phases, you can just pop it with an extra lunar phase that you don't need at the time being. So I like this tech in here. I think it's a pretty good tech, along with the Waning Crescents for the lunar matchup. I saw this pan out pretty well in the last match. But yeah, he's just running typical lunar aggro, just ended up playing a little bit better than the other people who were running the same list, and that's that. What did you guys think of this type of video? Let me know down in the comments below, and let me know if there's any of these decks that you're looking forward to playing. If you enjoy content like this, be sure to like and subscribe, as I do post content daily. I hope you all have a good day, and peace.